Hi there, welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica. On today's video, we are going to be starting the September color along. I'm coloring in Fairy Miracles by Klara Markova. I really like this book and I have not colored in it yet, so this is going to be a first for me. Well, I take that back. I have started a couple pages, but just to test out supplies and stuff. So the page I have picked out for us to color this month is this beautiful page with the fox and the cute little record player. I can't remember what the actual name of this is. I'm gonna have to look it up because that's gonna drive me crazy. But yeah, I just thought this was such a cute page. I thought that since I hadn't really done a Klara page before, that I would do a one-page layout instead of trying to do 2 pages. And see how that goes. So I do have a lovely inspiration sheet here. So these are all images I found on Pinterest. And I just kind of liked the feel of a lot of them. So this one down here is specifically for like the berries and stuff, just to remind me that you can add different colors to your leaves and they don't always have to be all green. But that's just, that's just something to just remind me that as I'm coloring, I can change things up a little bit. But I really liked, so like these ones all kind of feel the same. They all have this cute light green color and this teal, this muted teal color. Of course, the orange from the fox, a little bit of pink on some of the flowers. So I think that's the direction I'm going to be going. I really liked this one too and thought about going very fall, but I think I'm going to go more in this range with the colors. My background's going to be similar to this right here. We're going to have different colored ferns and stuff. Yeah, and then I think like the little fairies outfits are going to be in these, like this green, this cute little green, and the little teal colors. And then more of a muted color for the fox instead of like a bright orange or a red. So I'm very excited to start this. I have kind of a good vision in my head, so we're just going to get started, I think. So I'm going to be using a few different supplies. To start out with, I'm going to be using some water-based markers. I also have, off to the side here, my Color 2s, which I will be using in the background, I think, a little bit, maybe on the water down here, possibly for the fox as well. I love my Color 2s. They're one of my favorite supplies, water-based medium, and thankfully this book is wonderful with water-based products. Then I also have grabbed a couple of pencils from the Arteza Pastel set. These pencil colors are just beautiful and will be perfect for around about this color here. So very excited to play with those a little bit. And then the rest of the pencil work, I think I'm going to use my Kohinoor Polycolor pencils. I've been trying to use different pencils instead of just Prismacolor all the time. But yeah, so I think that some of these colors will definitely come in handy, especially like this light olive green and dark olive green will work really well. Some of the pinks and peaches that are over here, and then a lot of these warm browns will be really good too. So yeah, so that's my game plan. I'm gonna get a backer page here, and then we'll just get started. Okay, so to start, we're going to start with the Neocolors. It's always easiest for me to start with the background and then just work forward. So I want kind of something similar to this effect here. So we're going to do with like a nice light blue turquoisey color back here, which I have a perfect color for. So this turquoise blue from my Color 2s will work wonderfully. And then for the grass here, I'm going to do a mix of a couple of different things, I think. So I'm going to use my 2 olives. So I have a olive and then light olive. I'm also going to do a little bit of the ochre color and a little bit of this lime green. And we'll see if I can get something similar. It doesn't have to be exact. It's just kind of a, an inspiration. So kind of give me a little bit to go on. So basically, I'm going to just kind of create an area where I think the horizon line is going to be. I'm not going to draw in my line, but I'm just going to kind of lighten up maybe even not even color a specific area right in here so that those two colors can mesh well together, but then I don't have to, you know, have them blend, because I don't really want them to blend together. I just kind of want the separation between the two. I might end up drawing a little bit of a horizon just with like some grass strokes possibly, but it's going to be right about in here, right about in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just start coloring with my turquoise blue. I'm using very light pressure, and just kind of scribble in some color in certain areas. I'm not worried about making sure every inch of the background is covered, because since this is a water medium, I can move it around quite a bit. And I love the water mediums like this, especially my Neo colors, because it looks like a hot mess when you first get the color on the page, and then you start using your, you know, water brush or paintbrush or whatever it is you have, and it just is like magic. And it's my favorite. Okay, so let me just get the rest of this colored in. Okay, all right, so that is done, and now I'm just going to activate it with my water brush. Make sure I've got a good amount going, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up so that I don't pull that color back down into that quote-unquote horizon line that I've kind of created. So I just kind of left a gap of no color right in this area so that I can just push the color upwards. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so something I want to talk about really quick is with Neo colors, sometimes, even though you put the very smallest amount of pressure, you still will see some of the strokes from your crayon. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but like right in here, you can see some of the up and down strokes that have been left behind. So the way that I fix that is I just grab a little bit of color from the very tip of the crayon, and then I just kind of pounce the color in. And that really does help kind of camouflage those lines a little bit. You want to make sure you have a nice amount of water on your water brush. And then you can just kind of move that color around so that you have a nice flow, and you're not just like one chunk of color just like in one area. And it also kind of adds to that overall watercolor look too, because, you know, in watercolor, typically you don't have just straight, huge, solid blocks of color. You have variation and differences within the your areas of color. Different depths, different tones, whatever word it is that you want to use for that. And I just kind of pounce around until my water brush runs out of water, and try to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines. So that's kind of what the background's going to look like there. I'm just going to leave that, and then I'm going to go ahead and go in with the light olive. Yeah, I think first I'm going to do a little bit of the, what is this one called? The lime green. I'm just going to do a little bit of that right around the horizon-ish line that I'm kind of drawing in. And it's okay if I go over some of these leaves and stuff, because when I come back in with my colored pencils, it's really it'll just go right over top of it because these are so light. These colors are so light. Okay, switching to the light olive, I'm just gonna add in color wherever I feel like adding some color. Pretty much all over the ground. Kind of figure out what things, I think that's gonna all be fox. So we'll just color around this berry bush here. Okay, and then I'm gonna add in a little bit of the olive in some of the darker areas where I know for sure that I want a little bit of shadow. And I'll probably come back in with my pencils too to darken that up, because that's kind of what'll it'll just make it nice and dark. Okay, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the ochre and just add that into a few spots. This is just going to kind of brown the greens a little bit more. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through, same thing, I'm going to activate all that. I'm going to start and kind of push the color down this way. So I'll show you a little bit of that, and then I will get to this being all done. Okay, so this right here, I think these are shrubs. So we're just going to go in, I'm going to bring in a little bit more color. We're going to do a little bit of, I think, the russet from my Neocolors. We're going to add some russet, some ochre, and a little bit of the dark olive, and try to make some of these little shrubs kind of stand out a little bit more. But I'm just going to kind of do it randomly. Like, I don't have a plan here. This is just kind of random there. So, okay, so that was the russet. We'll do a little bit of ochre. And then the rest will be the olive color. Okay. And so I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start in the ochre color and work my way into both the russet and the olive at the same time, and just kind of, I might have to add another layer of green over top of this, but I think that it'll kind of get the feel of like a bush in the middle of changing, its colors for fall. I am kind of just going over the flowers because I will come back in and add some colored pencil and change the tones of those as well. And if you really don't want stuff on color on there, you can use a clean brush and just get some water on that, and then just kind of dab it with your paper towel or your towel or whatever you have around, and that pulls some of that color back off of there. That's another nice thing about the Neocolors, is they are workable for a little bit. So you can kind of play with them a little bit more, more than you could if you were using Inktense or something on here, because those tend to be pretty darn permanent. So, okay, let's get the rest of this shrubbery done. Okay. All right. I'll probably come back in with a little bit more green on those, but I'm going to go ahead and do the pond. Again, I'm going to do a mix of green and blue for that. Maybe just a tiny bit of the ochre. Maybe just like a little bit at the edges. Just so you can kind of see a little bit of that color from the shrubs around the outside. I don't want to do too much of the green either, because I do want this to look like, I want it to look like a little pond, but I also want it to have like a good reflection of what's going on around it. So just a little bit of green here and there, and then throw in a good helping of blue. Hopefully this works out. So I'm going to start in the lightest green, actually, and just kind of blend things together. Trying to stay out of the blue as best I can for now. If I get a little bit of blue mixed in there, that's okay, but I just want to try to keep the other colors kind of more, I want to blend all those first. Okay, now I'm going to try to blend in the blue color a little bit. See how that does. And I can pounce that around as well. Make sure you have a nice amount of water on your brush for this part. Hopefully that doesn't look like a hot mess. All right. Probably need a little bit more blue. So I'm gonna, again, pull more blue from straight from my crayon and just kind of add it in. I might come in with some pencils too and just add a little bit more just to maybe get more of an opaque look here. Okay. All right. I kind of wanted it to be, you know, a little murky because it's a pond in the middle of the forest, but I don't know. We'll have to maybe come back to that. Okay, so got a lot of that work done. I'm going to go ahead and do the fox as well. So I'm going to use my Neocolor 2s. I'm going to use my Ochre and Russet to do the fox, but I also want to kind of keep in mind where I want the on the face of the fox, where I want like the fur, so like this part. It's different on every character. Sometimes the eyes are within the white, sometimes they're above the white. I think I like it when they're above the white, so I kind of want the it to go like that. So if I just sketch it in very lightly with my pencil, I can just kind of eyeball that. And then this whole part here would be white to me. And then black paws, but a white tail. Sounds right. Sounds about what I'm thinking. Maybe not black. Maybe I can use, I think that there's a nice dark brown. Yeah, there's a bark color, I think is what it's called. No, raw umber. Bark is a different brand. Okay, so I'm going to add in my colors with this. So I'm going to do the ochre color in some of the areas where I know it would be a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to use the russet in the other areas. So probably this area here would be a little lighter, and then around this area too. Right there. Okay. And then we're just gonna leave that part clear for now around the face where the white would be. And I'll either come in with a little bit more Neocolor to shade it, or pencils here in a little while. Probably will do the pencils actually. Okay. I'm going to do the bark on the feet, but I'm going to add a little bit of this color too. Okay. I'm going to try that. We'll start with the face. I am going to go ahead and erase these lines and just kind of keep them in my head. So I know that I want the nose part here. This is all going to be this color, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to bring that russet color kind of back in. We're just going to bring that over like that. Kind of the same thing on this side. And again, it helps when you have a nice wet brush to work with, because the color tends to move a lot better. Okay. And if you get color outside of where you want it, sometimes you can push it back in. Sometimes you can't, and you just make it worse. which is what I just did, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to finish coloring in the rest of the fox here, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so there is the fox. I think I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then I might come back in with another coat just to give it a little bit more vibrancy. It's a little pastel and pale right now, and I really want it to be nice and vibrant. Okay, so let's move on to some marker work while I have these things, and we need that to dry. I have a very light pink picked out for my flowers. So this is 800, Tombow 800. So I'm just going to go through and color all of these flowers with this color. And then I'm going to bring in some pencils to do some shading for this, try to make the flowers look similar, but have enough of a difference in their coloring to be interesting, so it's not just all the same flower over and over and over. So I'm going to go off screen and finish the rest of this. All right, and then I'm also going to use this pink. This is going to sound weird, but I'm going to use it on these berries just as a base layer, and then I'm going to build up color on top of that. So I'm just going to add it to all of the berries as well. Okay, I've got a brown here. So this is Tombow 977. It's a nice warm brown. I'm going to use that for all of the wood kind of around. So this berry bush down here, and then also the branch up at the top of the page. All right, so there's that. I have a couple more colors that I would like to try to use. I have this orange color, which I think I might actually do on, I was thinking I was going to do it on here. Let me double check my colors again, because I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm going to use that as a base for these leaf things, plants that are growing out here. So this is from my local craft store, but it is like a burnt orange kind of color. All right, next I have this Tombow N79. I'm going to use that for these stones that are kind of laying around, which that's what I'm calling them. They could really be anything, but I'm just going to call them some rocks that are here and there. I'm going to use it, trying to decide if I want to use it on this part too. It's a darker color, so it's hard to add color on top. I might go with a lighter gray. Let me grab a lighter gray. This is a really light gray. This is N89, but I'll be able to color on top of that and still have some of that gray show through. Okay, I like that. All right, next I've got number 126. This is a nice warm green. I'm going to use this on all of the grass strands and the leaves and stems up here. Oh, up here. Probably need to be on screen for that. I'm going to hold off on, I'm not going to do it on the berry bushes because that is going to be, I'm going to color that with the pencil so I can get the nice amount of colors in there. But these ones I'm just going to do with greens and the grass strands that are kind of everywhere too. So just go through and do that really quick, and then I will be right back with you. So that's all the marker work done. I'm going to hold off on the record player for right now. I'm going to let that sink in. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with that, so we're going to hold off on that. But I am going to add in some more color with my ochre and russet to my fox. And I'm just going to do another layer right on top of the layer that I've already done. Trying not to push super hard on this, just because I don't want to have those lines all over my page. Okay, yeah, and then I'm going to do a little bit more over here. And I'm going to add a little bit more ochre. All right, and we're going to just go through and then activate all of that, blend that all out. One last little thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use this burnt orange color to color in this ladybug. Yeah, and then this little flag, I think, too. Use my brown to color this little stem. Okay. Okay, so that's where we're at with the colors I have so far. I'm going to grab one more color because I think I'm going to do like a light brown. So this is nope, not N. This is 992. I'm going to use this as the color for the little fairies. Just their skin. Okay. All right, yeah, and I'm still unsure what to do with this, so we're just going to hold off on that for right now. And I am going to, we'll probably, because we did all the background, so we'll probably maybe just do a few of the flowers. I'll show you how I'll do a few of the flowers, and then we'll have to come back next time and work on some more of the page. So let me grab the supplies for that. All right, so I've got my Koh-i-Noor poly colors here. So I've got light ochre, light olive green, apricot orange, blush pink, and peach orange. And I'm going to try to use a combination of these colors on the flowers and kind of make them a little bit different each time, but basically the same concept will be going into that. So I'm going to start with the darkest. So I'm going to start with this peach orange. I'll just start with this one over on this side here. So I'm just going to add the darkest color kind of down in where the shadows would be. It's not really a super dark color, but it does kind of add a little bit. So then I'm going to use the peach, nope, what is this? Apricot orange to shade outward from that a little bit. And I'm going to keep my pencil strokes kind of in the direction that the petal might be going. Sometimes if you look at petals on flowers, you can definitely see that it's almost like lines, you know, whether they're veins in the petals or something like that. But you can kind of see that they follow a pattern. They follow the shape of the petal. All right, I'm going to use the light ochre and just along some of the edges here, I'm going to add a little bit of this light ochre color. Just kind of pull that back towards just like that. I'm going to bring a little bit of this light olive green that's going to get mixed in here right at the edge of the flower where it goes back in. And I'm going to do one more color because I want a little bit of darkness here. So I'm going to use a brown. I'm going to use dark brown. And I'm just going to add that in this shadowy bit here. Then blend that out a little bit with this peach orange. Okay, I'm going to do another layer of the light ochre just to get a little bit more yellow color on there. And then kind of blend everything best I can with the blush pink. So yeah, that's kind of what the flowers are going to look like. This one, I'm going to do another one just so you can kind of see that I'm just going to be using the colors, you know, however they kind of make sense. So definitely the green is going to be up by where the flower blooms from. I'm going to go ahead and add in this dark brown in the areas where I know that there's going to be some shadow. Okay, and then, yeah, and then we'll go to the peach orange. And none of these layers are pressing hard. It's just a light layer of color. All right, and grab some of this light ochre. And then blush to kind of blend everything together a little bit. Okay, and that's kind of how the flowers are going to go across the entire page. So I will do a couple more sped up for you, but then I'll do the rest off screen. So I will talk to you again here in a minute. Okay, so there's one more little step I wanted to do for the flowers. I really do like the way that these look. However, I'm just going to add a little bit more color. So this is the reddish brown, and then I'm going to just kind of do some streaks from the center of the flower towards the edges. And then I'm going to use my peach orange to blend those out just a little bit. And that's just going to give a little bit more interest to the flower, basically. So I'm just going to do that on all of these flowers real quick. And then I think we'll be done for this video. And then the next one, we will start on the next section. All right, so there are those cute little flowers. I like the way that this page is going so far. Let me check and see how much time we've got on here, and then I can kind of figure out if we have time to do the berries. Hang on a second. All right, so just to make sure that these parts aren't too long, because my camera's being very finicky lately, we're going to leave it at that for today. So when we come back next time, we'll work on the berries, all of the like the rest of the little background bits, the leaves, the pond. I'll try to figure out what I want to do with this record player. But yeah, and then we'll go from there. So that's it for today. I hope you like this page so far. I hope that if you are coloring with me, that you tag me or let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to see your pages. And yeah, that's it from me today. I will see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.